This is Dushanbe, the capital of Tajikistan. The country is ruled with an iron fist by President Emomali Rahmon. No free press is allowed here, so we posed as tourists.
C'est le parlement qui a été construit en 1946.
Our guide doesn't know our real reason for coming here.
Ça, c'est la maison de communication, on peut dire qu'il y a
D'accord, la télévision, la radio.
Oui, tout ça.
D'accord.
The Tajik leader is omnipresent here, as on so many other buildings.
C'est notre président.
Mais il aime bien avoir son image.
Mais c'est nous qui aimons le mettre partout.
Ah, vous le mettez partout?
On aime ça. Il est très gentil. Il a même participé pendant la construction de ces bâtiments qui sont ici, par exemple, le Musée national, bien d'autres.
We decided to explore Tajikistan, a country in Central Asia that remains lesser known to many following the terrible events in Russia that took place a few months earlier. March 22, 2024. This attack on a concert hall on the outskirts of Moscow shocked the world. Just a few minutes before a concert was about to start, a group of terrorists stormed the Crocus City Hall. They opened fire on the 6,000-strong audience at point-blank range. The attackers were 4 heavily armed terrorists. After the shooting, the terrorists set fire to the entire building. The massacre left 145 dead and more than 500 injured. It was the worst attack Russia had ever seen. Immediately afterwards, responsibility for the attack was claimed by the Islamic State in Khorasan, a local branch of ISIS. The police quickly launched a massive manhunt. The very next day, more than 300 kilometers from Moscow, the 4 alleged perpetrators were arrested. They were all Tajik nationals. The Russian military was unleashed on the suspected terrorists. In a brutal act of violence, a Russian soldier cut off the ear of a suspected terrorist and tried to make him eat it. Immediately after their capture, the suspects confessed.
За сколько денег?
Где-то $500,000.
$500,000 чего?
$500,000 рублей.
Где оружие брали?
Оружие они сам доставили.
Кто они?
Не знаю, по телеграмму написали без имя, без фамилии, без ничего.
А как тебя нашли? Ты сам их искал или они тебя нашли?
Нет, они меня написали.
This marked a shift in expected profile for jihadists. Tajikistan seems to be a new breeding ground for terrorism in the region. At the heart of Central Asia, Tajikistan and its 10 million inhabitants are surrounded by China, Afghanistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Uzbekistan. As a result, this small country holds a strategic position in the region. Closely aligned with Moscow, the country hosts Russia's largest military base abroad. Base 201 has 7,000 deployed troops who regularly carry out maneuvers on Tajik territory. Emomali Rahmon is the president of this overwhelmingly Muslim country. Nonetheless, he has declared war on radical Islam and has turned Tajikistan into an ultra-secular regime to the point of banning any overtly religious symbolism from the country. The regime fears that radical Islamism might spread from its Taliban neighbors in the south of the country. We were able to film this rare footage of an open-air bazaar on the Afghan side with Tajik families who had come to do their shopping.
This is Mujahideen. It's very nice for Afghanistan. This also.
Oh, many Mujahideen here.
Yes, a lot.
Setting aside the Islamic threat, Tajikistan is a breathtakingly beautiful country with mountains covering 90% of its territory. In the Pamir region, nomads still live their ancestral way of life in relative isolation, battling against extreme conditions.
Эми кар көп жааганда ошондой болот да. Бирок суук бизде аябай күч. 50-55 градус.
Apart from cotton, Tajikistan has very few natural resources. It is the poorest of the former Soviet republics, with an average salary of no more than €100 a month. But the new Silk Road brings hope of development in the future. This is China's big project. Beijing hopes that these bulldozers will secure a direct route to Europe thousands of kilometers away. Tajikistan has already felt the first benefits of these investments, such as the luxury hotel that has just opened its doors. For the time being, only a tiny minority close to the government are living the high life. The golden youth of Dushanbe enjoy clubbing in the capital under the eye of an unlikely mascot.
It's my favorite person, it's Stalin!
From one dictator, Stalin, to another, the current President Ramon. This is an investigation into Tajikistan, a pearl of Central Asia living under the shadow of Islamist extremism. In Moscow, on the 25th of March 2024, the Tajik suspects in the Crocus attack were brought before a Russian court in Basmani. Still visibly suffering from the circumstances of their arrest, they were remanded in custody that day pending trial. The man who allegedly led the attack was among the defendants. He is 32-year-old Dalerdzhon Mirzoyev.
Кто такой Абдулло?
Он в Телеграме знакомился.
Ты с ним виделся?
Он с ним был.
Dalerdzhon Mirzoyev is now being held in one of Russia's harshest prisons along with the other members of the terrorist group. In Tajikistan, after several weeks of investigation, we were able to find his family. They live an hour's drive south of the capital, Dushanbe, in the village of Dalerdzhon. The family home does not have running water or electricity.
Pamir now kadem ki naim babay shamnashte ek kor galti diga mon bo bank me giriftem bo remont sar mekard.
Gulrakat is the mother of the alleged terrorist. She now looks after her son's 4 children.
Televizor tamasho mekune noxe. Televizor tamasho dadama ukhid dadama mahkam kadan chila dadama mahkam kadan ukhmuma ukhmegmuz mebye dadat. Dada teyot kadi? Dada dagjoa? Russia da korkni raf. Shincha miora chi biora? Kukla biora? Wa shkalad miora ida faqat. Ajal shkalata.
Before the attack, like more than 1 million young Tajiks, her son Dalerdzhon had immigrated to Russia to work. He was a taxi driver. Remittances from migrants are Tajikistan's main source of income.
Daija mega misol khurdan da miovi neke jam kadaya jota bud kadan nametoni kheboch khele boch ke Russia migum jam shaba oxi khay 2000 jam ekni boya chiz bud mesha oxi daija ke bosh khadame khurdani gudak popshi nadora 120 ya popshi gudak megri hafta nameraz mekana titepid oxi namedo odam October.
She tries to come up with extenuating circumstances to excuse her son. She finds it hard to accept that he could have turned to terrorism.
خداوند دشمنی ما را این روزا را نشانتیه خداوند دوست حرف دشمن ما را خداوند نشانتیه یکون کندگی را من ندیدم هیچ خیل در اینجا غلطید من فریب کدنشا روسی را ایخشون نمیدونست همین ندونی روسی را میفهمید ممکن همون کارو کردن در یکی در گوش میزد میگریخت.
Her son is still in prison awaiting trial. He faces a life sentence. His 4 children will probably never see him again. To gauge the scale of the jihadist danger in Tajikistan, we set off into the interior of the country. We are accompanied by Borat, the driver, and Vladimir, an English-speaking guide. As far as they know, we're just tourists. 1 hour outside Dushanbe, we come across this striking sculpture. A metal bicycle erected in memory of 4 foreign cyclists who died here in 2018. Before the tragedy, the tourists had been filming their travels, enjoying their journey through an area which was thought to be safe for foreigners.
Yes, the people of Tajikistan are very nice. It has been a challenging journey with the high elevation and the Pamir and the mountains.
A few days later, on July 29, 2018, they were violently hit by a car. The occupants got out and stabbed them repeatedly. The attack left 4 dead and 2 seriously injured. The attackers were 5 young Tajiks who had pledged allegiance to ISIS. The police quickly tracked them down and shot dead 4 of them. The 5th has since died in prison. This tragedy is evidence of the strong links between Tajikistan and ISIS. The country was one of the main suppliers of men to the Islamic State. Between 1,500 and 2,000 Tajiks have fought for ISIS. One of them, by the name of Gulrakat Kalimov, even reached the center of the jihadist power structure. His story is remarkable. He was a highly decorated lieutenant colonel and was the head of the Tajik Special Forces. A close friend of President Rahmon, he was trained by both the Russians and the Americans. In 2015, while in charge of counterterrorism, he defected and joined the caliphate in Syria, where he was appointed Minister of War. His threats against Tajikistan are very direct.
Слушайте, собаки, президент, министры, вы не знаете, сколько ребят, сколько братьев здесь от Хорасана ждут. Рвутся в Таджикистан, чтобы идти туда и восстановить шариат.
After arriving in Syria, the man, nicknamed al-Tajiki within ISIS, became one of the most wanted people in the world. The Americans put a price on his head. They offered $3 million for his capture. Gulrakat Kalimov fought in both Syria and Iraq for 2 years. Then, on the 8th of September 2017, his death was announced on Russian television.
Меня зовут Егор Максимов. Здравствуйте. В Министерстве обороны России утверждают, что Гулмурод Халимов был убит в бункере в районе города Дейр-эз-Зор. Удар нанесла российская авиация. Вместе с Халимовым погибли около 40 человек, в том числе высокопоставленные командиры исламского государства. Но пока об этом сообщает только Минобороны, подтверждений из других источников нет.
Threatened by the shadow of ISIS, Tajikistan is a country apart in the world of Islam. Over 90% of its inhabitants are Muslims, but the regime here is secular, and religion is strictly regulated. The Great Mosque of Dushanbe, one of the most imposing in Central Asia, can accommodate up to 130,000 worshippers. Jamaluddin Komushi is a well-known religious leader within the country. He oversees the training of imams and wants to do everything in his power to counter the rise of Islamism, which is a relatively recent phenomenon in Tajikistan.
بله بسیار این چیز حیرت انگیز است چون که مردم ما در طول تاریخ چنین سیاه نشده بود و چنین سیاهی رو به خود نگرفته بود و این چنین هم حاضر هم قبول ندارن که به چی خاطر است این شاید این در مدت بوم معین میشود جای خود رو میگیرد که سببش چی بود از کجا بود برای چی بود همش معین و مشخص میشود ان شاء الله مردم را تاکید میکنن و چند مرتبه خود شورای علما هم مراجعتنامه ها قبول کردن و مردم را تاکید کردن که از این کارها.
His very moderate stance is difficult to maintain in this region of the world marked by outbreaks of Islamist fanaticism. What's more, Tajikistan has difficult neighbors in the Taliban. The religious zealots returned to power in Afghanistan in 2021. We head for the border. A 2-day journey through the heart of the Pamir region. We'll be crossing some of the highest mountains in the world, some of whose names are reminiscent of the Soviet period, such as Lenin Peak at 7,134 meters. As we approach Afghanistan, we enter a high-security zone which the authorities keep heavily guarded. We passed through 3 checkpoints manned by Tajik soldiers. The border with Afghanistan is 1,300 kilometers long, with only 2 crossing points between the 2 countries. This one, a bridge over the Amu Darya River. The opposite bank is under the Taliban's control. We're filming with a hidden camera.
The military camp. The cameras are everywhere. Okay, remember, the border, no pictures.
No picture?
Hello. Hello. Can you show him his... He is also reminding that no pictures of the border.
Okay.
Once we have got through the checkpoint, we can cross the border. With us are some Tajiks who come once a week to buy supplies at the Kalaykumb market. We can take out our camera in the market. You can find everything here: carpets, clothes, fizzy drinks, shoes, toys, an open-air bazaar. Open from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays only, this market supplies the isolated Tajik regions on the other side of the border. More surprisingly, it has recently become a tourist destination for foreigners in search of a thrill.
Hello. Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, me too.
Where are you from?
From France.
France.
And you?
Korea.
Korea?
Yeah.
And how is it?
Good. This is Afghanistan market, right?
Yeah.
I only bought some Afghanistan money here.
Oh.
Feel it?
Yeah.
100 is almost 15 some money.
Ah, okay. Okay. Have a nice trip.
You too, huh?
Yeah.
Our guide is Kamal, who is 40 years old and close to the Taliban. He's now a tourist guide, but still wears his old combat uniform.
This is Tajikistan food. This side is Afghanistan traditional food. And shashlik.
Dalerdzhon Mirzoyev, kebab! Shashlik kebab!
It's very delicious. This is not so delicious and for Afghanistan Tajik food.
In the market, to our surprise, there were many women, but none of them are wearing burqas, contrary to the Taliban version of Sharia law.
So man and woman can come here?
These women all come from Tajik side, not come in Afghanistan side.
No woman from...
Yes, no women from Afghanistan.
Why?
Some Islamic country.
Ah, so no woman.
Yes, no woman coming.
And you have done the war also?
Yes.
Yes, with Kalashnikov?
Not now.
But before you?
Before.
Yes?
Yes.
To round off the visit, Kamal is keen to introduce us to his former comrades in arms.
Okay.
This is Mujahideen. It's very nice for Afghanistan. This also.
Oh, many Mujahideen here.
Yes, a lot.
Finish
Yes.
Kalashnikov. No more war.
گفتم مجاهدین یه وقت کلاشینکوف خلم
Okay.
all mujahideen not Kalashnikov, only pen.
Kamal repeats the propaganda of the Taliban regime, who are eager to improve its image.
Afghanistan is very, very, very international for the other country. A lot of joining tourist place for tourists. Now, Afghanistan, very, very nice situation. For tourists, very, very fantastic.
Despite his reassurances, 6 days after we filmed here, there was an attack at a market in the town of Bamyan in the center of Afghanistan. 3 Spanish tourists and their 3 guides were shot dead by a group claiming allegiance to ISIS. The instability of neighboring Afghanistan has strengthened the resolve of the Tajik authorities to combat fundamentalist Islam. In Dushanbe, they have taken radical measures. In this video, officials at the entrance to a hospital ask women to change from their hijab to a traditional Tajik headscarf. €300 or 3 months' average salary. Similar cases have been seen all over the country. As for the men, from 2016 onwards, they have regularly been forced to shave their beards. Beards are an Islamic symbol that is linked to extremism in the eyes of the authorities. Only the Tajik beard without mustache is tolerated among older people. This war against radical Islam is President Emomali Rahmon's #1 battle.
خدا را با عقل میشناسند و با قلب میپرستند نه با سر و لباس و ستر و حجاب و سلاوریش.
Emomali Rahmon's story is intertwined with that of his country. After the collapse of the USSR, Tajikistan gained independence in 1990. At the end of a civil war between communists and Islamists that left 50,000 dead, Emomali Rahmon, the son of a peasant and a former soldier in the Red Army, came to power and never left.
تاکی باشم برای میلتم برای خلقم برای دولتم خدمت میکنم.
In fact, from the moment he came to power, the president has put his own interests first. His family now controls most of the country's economy. In 32 years, he has won 5 elections without any real opposition.
من از مردم عزیز تاجیکستان یک جهان سپاسگزارم که زحمت و تلاش‌های مرا با اشتراک فعالانه خود
His son, Rustan, is likely to succeed him. At 37, he is now mayor of the capital, Dushanbe. The succession is assured for this strategic ally of Vladimir Putin. Like him, he has crushed all opposition. As in Russia, the few Tajik dissidents were forced into exile. Most found asylum in Europe, the Netherlands in particular. More than 5,000 kilometers from home, in a small Dutch town whose name we will withhold for his own safety, we meet Sharofidin Gadoev, who has been a refugee here for 10 years. At 39, he's one of the main leaders of the Tajik opposition abroad. He had to flee his country after losing everything.
وقتی که ما در تاجیکستان بیزنس‌های زیاد داشتیم و اونها از طریق امنیت تاجیکستان و مقامات‌های حفظ حقوق آمدن مالکیت ما را کشته گرفتن. خودی داماد امامعلی رحمانوف شرکتتون تسلیم کنه و اگر نه نسبت شما پرونده باز میکنیم. من شرکت ما ندادم ولی مجبوری شرکت ما را گرفتن در نام خودشان کردن و من مجبور شدم که از تاجیکستان بیرون شوم.
Since his exile, he's taken numerous actions against the Tajik regime, such as here in Berlin in 2023 when President Rahmon visited Germany. His fight against the regime put a lot of pressure on his family back home, including his mother, who was forced to record this message.
کارایی که میکنین همین کارای در گرمانی کردیم بسیار کاری خوب نکردیم نکنین نه کار نگیرین بچم در هیچ که کار نگیرین نه رهبر دولت نه دیگه و دیگه اشتا با که همین مردم اینا گفته ایسان میبخشیم تون ببخشن تون بیاین خدا هر کس ملک وطنی خودش بیاین همچه زندگی را دوام تین مردم دستکی مرا در سر پریم
یعنی مخالف بودن در نسبت رحمانوف این بسیار یک کاری سنگین است و رحمانوف هیچ رحمی ندارد و لطو کوب مادری من 73 سال دارد پیرانسال است بیمار است ولی به بیماریش نگاه نمیکند میبرد مقامات امنیتی مجبور میسازد که در مقابل کامیرا ایست و نسبت فرزندت حرف بزن یعنی نظام امام علی رحمانوف انا همی است یک نظام بسیار سنگین و دیکتاتوری است.
The dictatorship held an even worse fate for his father.
روز 2 اکتبر سال 2014 پدری من نهادهای امنیتی دستگیر میکنن و زیر لطوکوب قرار میکنن بعد از این پدری من از راه رفتن میمانن مدت 1 سال و 8 ماه در بستر بودن و بعد از این وفات کردن و تا ما بخوانه من امروز میخوام خودم قربان کنم خانواده‌ام ولی ملت من آزاد باشه.
The family have paid a heavy price. Sharafeddin's cousin was also a leader in the Tajik opposition. He was shot dead in 2015 in Istanbul, Turkey, where he had taken refuge. Within Tajikistan, any hint of opposition is rare and all are severely repressed. In 2022, a protest movement against central government broke out in a remote region of the country. The population is calling for an investigation into the death of a local official who was allegedly killed by the police. The regime's repression was relentless.
خیلی مردم در زنده دستگیر کردن 4 یا 5 نفر اونها را در نتیجه در همون جا کشتن و بیشتری آدم‌هایی که در کشتن آنها را اول دستگیر کردن شکنجه کردن با اتوک سوزانیدن با پیلنیک سوزانیدن و بعدا اینها را کشتن.
Faced with the brutality of President Ramon, like Sharafuddin, an estimated 10,000 opponents have fled abroad. Opponents who all hope one day to return home when the dictatorship falls. Tajikistan is also an exceptionally beautiful country, but one that receives very little attention. With its breathtaking scenery, each of the region's tourist sites is more exceptional than the last, but they are desperately empty. Because of the risk of Islamism, tourism is in freefall. From 1,300,000 in 2019, the number of visitors has fallen to less than 350,000 today. Very few outsiders now dare to venture into these mountains. Foreign embassies advise against visiting the area along the Afghan border. In the heart of the Pamir, we reach the closest point to the Chinese border. In this remote desert region, a few tiny communities remain, isolated from the rest of the world. At an altitude of 4,200 meters on this high plateau, a nomadic family still lives here in much the same way as their ancestors did. They are among the 70,000 ethnic Kyrgyz living in Tajikistan. Yamina and her husband Idris live mainly from rearing yaks. With around 40 head of yak, they occasionally sell meat and cheese to the nearest village, an hour's drive away. In summer, the family lead an itinerant life with their animals, which they take to graze on the mountain pastures. In winter, they take refuge here. Even though the yaks are adapted to extreme climatic conditions, Idris has to protect them from the coming cold.
Kar cahit da bizde kışında kar cahit misal kar şu жерге çeyin cahit da çoğun buluttan şamal cahit dağı bunu çoğultup gelip bana duval menen teң kılıp üyöt. Endi kar köp жааганда şonday bolat da. Biroq soğuk bizde aябай күч. 50-55 gradus. 50-55 gradusga çeyin soğuk jetet. Maldar topozlar çydabay monday kışında titrep kalat da.
They've built walls to protect the animals from the icy wind, and one particular fuel has been used for heating since the dawn of time. To our eyes, the floor of the enclosure looks like ordinary beaten earth. In fact, it is a stock of fuel which the nomads have learned to use to resist the cold.
Topozun kırını keseriz da. Topozun kırını kesip durma duvarlarga jayabız. Ama kesip çıkarganda jayiş. Bul bir köp gündü vaqt alatda gidet bir nedeyle, 2 nedeyle. Çoğultup kesip yarını jiyip onlar köp burası yani da bu çoğun korgun. Kalarını özümüz kalap kalbağanı satıp da produkt alıp negizgi tezcilik işletemiz. Kıktı.
Every day, Yamina uses this fuel to bake her bread in the tandoor, the traditional clay oven.
Разные архандай пшат. Кеде 5 минутту, кеде 3 минуттурду.
Although essential to the family's survival, the yak dung is not enough to fuel the oven. There are no trees for miles around, so Idris regularly travels in search of a natural firelighter.
Bana men otuğa geldim hazır. Ana otundu başladım al işte. Lottum ananday. Tayak meni tayaksın. Ondan kılı alıp, kağıp, tazalap. Bunu biz ot tutandırağız. Ottamız ağız peşkege birinci şunu koyup anan ottu. Tutandırıp alıp. Anan dalçı otu ulanıp gidet da. Özünde de kalap bunday.
He travels back and forth every 2 to 3 days to gather as many bushes as possible before the long winter months. Inside the family yurt, which is reassembled every year when the nomads move back here, everything serves a purpose. The essentials consist of a few curtains and a warm carpet, as well as a rustic stove that is vital for survival here.
Bana bir ele şkaf, buğa biz yediş ayakta produktunu şuğa koyuyoruz. İkincide bana cük, bu cük aldı deyit. Cük aldığında bana ciganga şunu içige bunday kiyim ayağımızdı. Kak sandık memek okşuş, çamadan okşuş. Şuğa açalar, şuğa bizden cük memeler. Azca biz köçüyoruz gerek de.
İşte de ne canlık.
Idris and his wife mostly eat broths and bread cakes topped with butter and yak cheese for lunch and dinner. This is a typical diet for Kyrgyz nomads.
No, neyimiz gerek. Kırgız medeniyeti menin Tajik medeniyetinin ayrılması. Bizde köç başında Kırgız azali köçmen halk bolğon. Daima köçüp bayağıda Kırgız üyünü digip Kırgız üyü negizi Kırgız üyü menen başında törölgöndürle Kırgız üyü koşa bolğonda. Başında meymandarga kelip manday interesovat etip bayağıda özleri kızıktırıp da.
Despite being faithful to their traditional culture, the nomads have recently given in to the siren call of technology.
Bana жақсы oldu, biz gaz telefon var, любой жермен связь söyleşiyoruz, internetке kireriz, YouTube'ga kireriz, WhatsApp, Құлаға шүгір мана жақсы жатыр. Заман жақсы болып жатады. Барлығы мысалы не керек болса телефонменен іштіп бітіріп аламыз.
But this progress is not enough to preserve their way of life. Idris clings to his culture, but fewer and fewer nomads are willing to live like this in the Pamir Mountains. The only way back down to the valley are the steep, dangerous tracks along the mountainside. But a new project is about to change all that. The new Silk Road, a titanic project financed to the tune of hundreds of millions of euros by neighboring China. For several years now, the stony roads of eastern Tajikistan have seen a non-stop procession of HGVs coming from China by day and night. As they traverse the mountains, these bulldozers are paving the way for Beijing's dream project. The plan is to build a road hundreds of kilometers long. The project is due to be completed in 2026. China hopes the road will connect with Europe. From the town of Xi'an through Tajikistan, Chinese lorries will save time on their route to the port of Rotterdam in the Netherlands, a journey of more than 10,000 kilometers. At the invitation of President Ramon, Chinese leader Xi Jinping visited Tajikistan last July. The state visit was planned to further cement the cooperation between the two capitals.
رئیس جمهوری مردم چین محترم سی جی پین و از نام خودم برای دستگیری‌های دائمی از روند رشد و پیشرفت دولت صاحب اختیار تاجیکستان.
This support is anything but disinterested. Tajikistan's dependence on Beijing has become increasingly obvious. The Chinese have acquired more of the country's wealth in recent years, such as the gold mine, where half the shares are owned by China. Opened in 2022 with great fanfare, the mining company produces more than 2 tons of ore a year. The company has promised to employ 1,500 Tajiks over time. On the way back to the capital, we can see how the Chinese road improvements are affecting the local economy. In the middle of nowhere, almost 200 kilometers from Dushanbe, in the Darvos district, we visit a unique multi-product factory. Gulbuddin Hekmatyar is the director of this industrial park, which opened in 2020. He gives us a tour of his giant greenhouse, which covers over 3,000 square meters. 170,000 strawberry plants grown with virtually no human intervention. A few buildings away from the high-tech agriculture, completely unrelated goods are being produced, such as sparkling water from the springs of the Pamir and medical masks. They have a surprising collection of cutting-edge machinery sourced from friendly nations. The final surprise is Gulbuddin's pride and joy. He's keen to show us the facility where his perfumes are designed and produced.
And they make a combination. Okay. This industrial project was made possible by the new Silk Road.
It will create manufacturing jobs in a region that until now made its living from agriculture and livestock farming. Thanks to Chinese investment, other projects are springing up in the region. Just a few kilometers from the factory, we're greeted by a familiar face. With the blessing of President Ramon, a luxury hotel has recently been built to attract foreign tourists to the region. This was unthinkable before the road was built. More than the luxury, what strikes you at every turn of the many pathways is the aesthetic, which is extremely kitsch, not to say tacky. The architect even built fake castles above the hotel. The grounds are cared for by a small battalion of full-time gardeners. The Tajik president himself was the one who wanted this luxury hotel. He inaugurated it in 2020, as this video from the tourist office shows.
Yes.
Dozens of different species of trees were planted here to impress the president. The head gardener pays particular attention to one of them. The hotel has 25 rooms, but during our visit, none of them were occupied. Admittedly, even the basic rate of 150 euros a night is out of reach for the locals. We were not allowed to enter the building, but we were able to get a copy of the promotional video made by its designer. It was a big moment.
در جای خیلی ما زیبایی این موضع جای خواب رو تخت جای خواب رو خیلی زیبایی دادیم که ببینید هر یک چیزهایی که در اینجا می‌بینید از روی مهمانخانه 5 ستاره با سطح بلند چیزهای با صفت رو ما استفاده بردیم.
The glittering luxury on show throughout the hotel is a far cry from the average standard of living in Tajikistan. Away from the major Chinese projects, the hinterland survives as best it can. Bulungkul is one among many other villages. With a population of just 300, the town has a tiny economy. It consists mainly of livestock farming and a small amount of small-scale farming.
You come with me.
To get by, like many other families, Sabrina, aged 24, takes in the rare tourists passing through the area. The isolated village lies deep in Tajikistan's national park, which is listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
In our village, surrounded so beautiful mountains, also surrounded us lake, Yashiku Lake. It's so beautiful because when from other world, from other country comes here tourists, first of all, he saw the Yashikul and he saw our mountains.
At 10 euros a night, including meals, welcoming visitors is a vital source of income for Sabrina. But only around 100 tourists come here, and only in the summer months.
When tourists comes here, they say, "Oh, how you can live here?" But for us, it's normal. Yeah.
In Bulungkul, nothing has changed in decades for the 40 or so families who live here. Ramshackle buildings and very few home comforts. The only signs of the modern world are the solar panels and satellite dishes.
If we haven't a solar panel, we can't make the light because at night it's so dark. Come, I show for you our greenhouse because our village, the weather is so changeable and it's so cool. We growing here the vegetables. Comes, I show for you. Here we grow the cucumber, also potatoes, carrots. That's all. Yeah.
With a record temperature of minus 63 degrees recorded in 1964, Bulungkul is one of the coldest places on the planet. These extreme conditions are difficult for young people like Sabrina to endure.
Here's not any of them because they go to other towns, to other countries for working, for reading, for studying. But just now, here only I am.
There are virtually no public services in the village. Only the primary school is still open. 25 pupils in all, divided into 3 multigrade classes. Bakhtin Ruzayeva has been headmistress for 12 years. Every morning, she starts her class with a patriotic song. A hymn to the glory of Tajikistan, under the gaze of President Rahmon, of course. Most of these students will probably not stay here as adults. In these remote areas, economic opportunities are few and far between. This is a far cry from the glitz and glamour of Dushanbe. When night falls, the contrast between the capital, home to 1.5 million people, and the rest of the country is even more striking. While countless villages are without electricity, in the evening, Dushanbe is transformed by a blaze of multicolored lights. It's 7 p.m. and time to wake up for 30-year-old Emreyan. He lives in an upmarket neighborhood and comes from a relatively well-off family. He only works at night. He's a DJ and earns 2,000 euros a month, which is 20 times more than the average wage in the country.
Лично мне хватает на все, что я пожелаю. Я могу за домом присмотреть, коммунальные услуги платить, купить себе одежду, купить себе вещи, диджейские принадлежности, пульты, контроллеры. А также могу отдыхать, на отдых потратить, с девушкой куда-нибудь сходить.
Emreyan enjoys regular shopping trips. He loves it here, in the biggest shopping center in Tajikistan, with all kinds of shops inside and the mall's main attraction, the country's only hypermarket, a French chain.
Люди больше и больше с детьми приходят на фудкорты. У нас вот такой огромный фудкорт в моле. И очень много ресторанов, очень много еды, разные кухни. Так что по поводу еды здесь нет проблем вообще.
At 10 p.m., it's time for Emreyan to leave for work. He heads for Community, one of the capital's few nightclubs. It's the most fashionable nightclub right now.
Заведение в пятницу в основном люди ходят в клубы, в заведения, танцевать, веселиться, пить, есть. Так что ждем всех. Good party in Dushanbe. Это в community. Good party in Dushanbe. Это в community.
Every Friday night, Emryan performs in this nightclub from midnight to 3 a.m.
It's my...
He feels at home here.
Поздоровайся со мной. Там, кстати, вот этот коктейль бесплатный, иди возьми.
Only the elite come here. A drink costs more than 10 euro, but the alcohol flows freely.
Так как сказал, Душанбе демократическая страна. Здесь можно пить. Это не запрещено в таких заведениях. На улице, конечно, нельзя пить. Мы пьем в заведениях. Помаши ему.
Emryan adds to the spectacle with a mascot that's in decidedly poor taste.
It's my favorite person, Stalin.
Whether Stalin or Ramon, it's the same old game. A so-called patriarch of the Tajik people controls his fellow citizens with an iron fist. A handful of privileged people enjoy a semblance of freedom, while the poor live at the mercy of the regime. And every year, Emomali Ramon tightens his grip on the country.